of Python assignments. And Python 1, 2 and one more assignment was given. But I fear that people have done anything. Let me share the screen first. Share the screen. Okay. Where are those? First, let me pass the attendance sheet. Attendance spreadsheet. Okay. Fill the attendance. To everyone. Fill the attendance. So if I open the, see, I don't see anyone completed, and even if I open the folder here, I don't see like most of the people. I don't see here anyone has even added. If I just open randomly also, Python assignment is done. There was Python 2 and also Python 3. Neha would have given at the end. Like I had passed Neha one more assignment. Actually, 3 assignments of Python is there. That's why you are given time, right? It's all about the how much assignments you do. You will be strong. That's always. That's the funda. Okay, that's the funda. So it's okay. SQL you have done. Okay, but there were other assignments also. Python 2, 3. I don't see anyone going. Apart from this, Python 1 was given like 2 months before only, you know. Once I started in the 4th week, you had got that Python assignment 1. But after that, I don't know what you guys did. 2-3 weeks. See, here I see something Python. But again, it's assignment. Give the length. First and last element. See, the more you do like this, you get the idea. It's all about doing. See, I also like, I need to practice for your class and for the work and all. It's not like everything, to be honest, I am not every day working on Python code. Okay, as you know, I am an architect. I have completed that phase and moved to the next phase. But what I am working in the company, I can't teach you architect level and all. So for you also, I need to prepare to some extent, teach you, all the things will happen. It's all about how much you practice. Okay, and now almost like, okay, 2-3 months I did not speak about job. Now you have to prepare for your job. 2-3 months was for your preparation. I again told you, from 3 months I am telling Python needs more time. That's why we started at the beginning, and I stretched a lot for you Python, so that you become at least good in that. Because without Python, whatever you learn, whatever I teach you, AWS, Spark, without Python, you will never get confidence to work in the organization. When you have Python, remaining things you can pick up like this. That's what we also did. See, Spark, directly I got a project, I worked. And Cloud, I got a project directly within a week. I work. Azure, I am working. Now also I am getting Power BI, Tableau things. We study for 10-15 days. More than studying, like we start working on it and we learn. But Python, it requires a good amount of time, months, years to become strong. Okay, you can't simply read 1 or 2 days before, and you would have already felt. Okay, so it is an ample amount of time, almost 3 months only on Python. Okay, it's a, and I haven't covered, there are hundreds of topics in Python, and it's no use if I do that. There is no point of you learning. That's not required for working in a company or what to say, in the projects. And on your learning, once your foundation is strong, you can pick the things. Okay. Anyhow, I am not asking if Vaibhav comes in the call, so he will be like looking for your assignments. That's what he told predominantly. So I don't want to dwell into that. And I hope like people have practiced Python by this time. Python and SQL also jobs are there. Okay, be good in Python. SQL is universal solvent, means it's like a water. You need for all kind of jobs. So be strong, and it's a good for what to say, employable. So you are an employable candidate for the company. You know SQL, Python, you can learn Spark in 20-25 days. We have got lot of candidates in our project, like who are already good in SQL, Python. There was a training on Spark, there was a training on cloud, they directly put in the project. Okay, even in Spark, anyhow I have good number of questions to cover, so I'll cover. And SQL and Python, it's not complicated. I need not to speak too much on Python, Spark, so it becomes simple. And I will teach you like 15 to 20 theoretical questions on performance tuning, drivers, architecture, those things and all, which we will be discussing how internally the Spark works, UI, all those things. And apart from that, there are problems which will be easier if you are okay to some extent you are good with your Python and SQL. It looks simpler, okay, because Pyspark is nothing but a combination of SQL and Python, so it would not be complicated. And the targets are within 2 months to complete by February. Okay, so I can extend Pyspark for 3 months also, AWS also for another 4-5 months, but that's not an idea. Not teaching you everything, then it's a useless. What is required for interview and what is required to work in a company, that's what I have prepared the courses. Okay, so now have you guys have installed the Spark? That's my main question. Okay, so you had given that link, software and all, and also I asked you to interact with the admins if you have a trouble. So did you install that Pyspark? Because if you see my screen, I will be directly opened. What to say? This is a Pyspark screen. So I have followed a different method of installation. Okay, I have installed Docker and all, and I have done. But this is not the way which they have given. They have given other way. Okay, so because I know Docker and I did some R&D, installed Docker. It's a completely different setup. What is given to you and what I have installed. So that way I have not done the way which was given from the IntelliB Institute faculty, admin faculty. So I had asked you to interact with them and install, because directly I want to jump with the Pyspark. Yeah, there are some architectural theory things which I will start. Let us, because complete last week I went with the PPTs and all. I don't want to speak the same thing. Let us jump into the directly to the technical thing, means what to say, practical thing, and you will feel like, okay, I am able to understand. Then we will slowly jump for the theory questions, all those things, and parallelly we will complete. So but what will happen, again my classes, as I have told, it would be same as Python. I will do 2-3 questions and I will give you 3-4 questions. So if you are not installed Pyspark, then it would be difficult. Okay, so okay, let us just speak about, see, this one only. Let us start recording first. More record to the cloud. Okay, see, Pyspark is most commonly used by data engineers. Pyspark is like your ETL Informatica. Okay, it's a ETL where you can extract the data, transform the data and load the data. But in Informatica, if someone has used or experienced, Informatica is completely UI, user interface. Means you have a complete UI, you just drag and drop with mouse, and not so much of coding, not so much of SQL also you write. Maximum they write SQL, but not so much of that, because first 5 years I have worked on Informatica, so I can easily compare. And it's very easy. Informatica compared to Pyspark is easy, I agree. But I have understood there are few people who have worked or learned on Informatica, because while taking interview they are told they are again coming for this session, big data session. That means Informatica is old. Informatica can handle only structured data. Informatica cannot handle unstructured, semi-structured data. Informatica cannot handle huge volume of data. It shambles, it breaks off. And today's era is all about more data, big data, you know. Today's era is not of structured data. A lot of data is semi-structured data, unstructured data. So your Informatica will fail. That means today you learn Informatica, getting jobs becomes very difficult. And again they ask whether you know Pyspark. So there is no point of learning this, even though it's easy, where only SQL and UI is required. Compared to Informatica, this requires little bit of technical skill, because for Pyspark directly I can't teach you Pyspark. You should know SQL, you should know Python, that we have learned. Then learning Pyspark is easy. And also it's more of coding, not UI directly, not a UI where you drag and drop, you write a code. But once you know Python, Spark, whatever we have done, with that we start doing the same thing, concept like you extract from different places. Okay, basically I will show while doing the AWS. From SFTP you extract the data. Okay, from some application APIs. With this and all I will not show, because it becomes a complicated topic and advanced topic in the AWS. From API means from the website you can pull the data. Okay, this and all is not possible from your Informatica, from API. And from the applications, Salesforce, all those applications are there. From there you can pull the data. From multi-cloud, that means from Google, from Azure, Microsoft Azure, this is also cloud, Microsoft Azure. From Google, GCP, Google Cloud, I can pull the data to the AWS. Okay, that means Pyspark can extract the data from different locations. Okay, there is a spark.read. Internal command. With that we can pull the data. So after pulling the data, see, all this data will go to S3. Once I am doing AWS, I will tell you what is S3. S3 is like a folder where you store the data, that's all. In the AWS we have all the things on S3, a place for storing the data. Okay, so now you got the data, that is called extraction. You have extracted the data from different location. Now next is transforming. Transforming is what? Same thing, you do filter. In your SQL you remember filter is a transformation, sorting is transformation, joining is transformation, aggregation is transformation, routing is transformation. All these things, whatever you have done in SQL, like filter the data, group the data, sort the data, join the data, all these we call it as a transformation. But we write a code for this, like how you did in SQL. The same way there is a Spark SQL also. So Pyspark can be written in two ways. One is Spark, one is write with Python Spark, and one more is Spark SQL. Spark SQL are simple, same as your SQL language what you have learned. Python Spark will be little complicated. That means you have to use Python. You know, Python is slightly difficult than your Spark, than your SQL. But why Python Spark? Because not everything can be done in SQL. For example, you have lakhs of data, crores of data. You have to do a loop. In SQL you can't do a loop. In Python you can do a loop. You can use for loop, while loop, and also at that time you will go for Pythonic Spark. Okay, when you have a simple aggregation you can do with Spark SQL. When you have a little bit complex logic, you know, we have done so many examples of Python, you know that, and also SQL you have already learned. So you know, like what are the limitations of SQL, you know, what are the advantage of Python, you know, but learning curve of Python is slightly bigger than the Spark SQL. But you have got a good amount of time just to learn Python SQL, where many places they teach you 15 days of Python, some 5 days of SQL, do Pyspark for another 10 days, AWS for another 6 days, 1.5 months, done. Your big data course is done. Here we are not doing like that, but we know the reason why. You also know the reason. It takes a good amount of time, not jumping into the job directly. No one will give you a job. But yeah, if you learn this, you are a good competitor, you are a good quality candidate, eligible to get a job. I have also told, recession time also you get the job openings for this technology. So prepare well. So these are the advantages. You should know, like why even previously there were Informatica. See, I was happily in a team lead position in Informatica. Why I moved from Informatica to big data? Okay, before AWS there was Hadoop. I worked on Hadoop. Then I moved to AWS. So this says that there will be no growth. Even my colleagues still are there in Informatica. The package wise there is a difference, growth wise, job opening wise there is a huge difference. So, but you guys are directly started from here. That is good. So now going back and learning something easy doesn't make sense. As you already know, Python SQL is used in every technology. Okay. So, and after transforming, you have to load the data. Loading is what? Loading it to the database. In our AWS only, we have the database called Redshift, which we'll be learning. It is a database. Okay. Here where data modelers will build the schema. Or last week I taught you, right, star schema, snowflake schema. Now also data modeling is there. Now also data warehousing is there. Redshift is a data warehouse. Okay, data warehouse. That means data warehouse is not there. I told you last week difference between data lake, data mart, data warehouse. Please brush up. There can be any question shoot up in the interview. Okay, so people who have 10-year experience will ask the interview. They would have definitely worked in data warehouse, then moved to the data lake. Okay, maybe you have not worked on data warehouse previously, but there will be question because even today, even AWS, whatever big data requires data warehouse, but data warehouse building is costly. First they do all the activity data lake. Here only in the S3 only what they do is they just dump the data. You just saw here, right? All this SFTP data, API data, application data, all the different platforms like Microsoft Azure, GCP data are dumped here. So we call this as a data lake. S3 data lake means it can have different data. Maybe you might have IoT data, Internet of Device data. It would be in binary format. There can be image data, which is unstructured data. There can be video data, sound data. There can be from the database also data can be there, which is structured data. See, all this data come into a single place, that is S3. We can call it as a data lake. Okay. So with data lake, what they do is, last week also I had told, they do Pyspark. Pyspark means what? It's mainly transforming the data, like filtering, doing and all, and send the output to the businesses. It is not required to load to the database also. Directly they send to the businesses in the form of reports. They understand and analyze, and after this they move to the data warehouse. Moving to the data requires is a time consuming because they have to do data modeling. Data modeling in sense, you have to do star schema or snowflake schema. Then you have to load the data and you have to follow all the constraints. Remember in your SQL they would have taught like primary key, foreign key, secondary key, composite key, relationship. All those things is a time consuming, but it's okay because having a proper data here in the long run it is very helpful. I told even CEOs, CTOs wants to look to this data. They will be knowing SQL. Maybe they might not be strong in Pyspark and all. SQL is simple. That's why don't be very happy that you know SQL. Even the management guys who are 20 years who are running the business, they know SQL. But Python, Pyspark is slightly technical. Okay. So as soon as you learn these things, you become a technical guy. SQL is an analytical thing. I have seen even a BS, business analyst, they know SQL. Even a salesperson knows SQL. Okay. It's simple. Hope you understand. SQL is not very complicated. Okay, so these are all the advantages of Pyspark. Now let us jump to Pyspark. Okay, so I will give you couple of points on Pyspark for your this one. So I have a good number of questions on the Pyspark. So let us go. See, beginning we didn't. Okay, today's date. Let me in this. I make a new folder. The laptop has changed actually. New folder. I'll make INTLLIB IntelliB. Okay. So desktop. I'll make IntelliB NTLL. So what is the name? Pyspark. Today's date 30/12/23. Okay, so let us go ahead with few points on Pyspark before starting. See, before there was no Pyspark, there was only Spark. To work on Spark, we should use Scala language. It is very difficult language. Means it is like Java. Okay, it is complicated. It has all the curly braces like Java, exactly like Java. Java learning curve is difficult. So we were directly pushed to that. That is where I learned Scala, and it was very complicated. There were a lot of performance issues, and it was not as simple as today. Like there was no Spark SQL also. Okay, we have to write here. But slowly, like these are not used these days. Okay, see how the technology keeps on changing. In a technology world, you should be always a student. Then only you can thrive. Okay, if you survive, you will always be scared. Okay, when they will remove out of the job, how to do. So always have that learning attitude, because to get good money, you should keep on learning and to have the confidence. There is no other alternative. Okay, even I am training. The main reason is I will also learn something. I will also update. Okay, it's not like I am God. I know everything. I should also. I would have been like that if it was I had come from only one technology from the day one till now. IT, after couple of years I learned that IT means you should be like student. It's a technology. Technology means what? Previously you had a button phone, no phone, button phone, iPhone, smartphone. Things keeps on changing, and the behind you are the people who are working on all those things. So technology changes. Okay, and there is a reward also. The money package what you get is not got by any other people. Okay, so but yeah, you should learn it. Have that attitude, learning. Okay, so Scala was the thing which was there. Okay, so now after that Spark SQL came. It made easy, and also Python. There are other languages also you can do, but Python is what today number one language. Means Python is the highest people who are using in all projects. And Spark also, we even through Java you can do Spark, even through Scala you can do. I think even through some Node.js also you can do Pyspark, Spark basically. We are doing with Python, so we call it as Pyspark. Py refers for Python, and it is a Spark. Okay, so now, okay, so let us just speak about some of the things. 1 minute, give me a moment. So Pyspark RDD, let me give you. So in, okay, Pyspark, okay, here we do RDD. So RDD is Resilient Distributed Data Set. RESILIENT, Resilient Distributed Data Set. That means everything in Python, Spark you create, it becomes RDD. We will see an example. RDD is not destroyable. Resilient means the meaning in English only, it can't be destroyed. Okay, immutable and distributed. Okay, so you create for something RDD. There are a lot of RDDs which get developed. Means for maybe for one word, allo Python, there might be 2 or 3 RDDs created. That means this becomes distributed. That means it can be distributed across. As I told, Spark means distributed, means one task is done by inside 3 processors or 3 CPUs. Okay, and it is not destroyable. Okay, that is the meaning, not destroyable, and it gets distributed across the system. That is the meaning. Okay, so resilient distributed data set is a fundamental data structure. is a fundamental data structure of Pyspark. So funda of Spark is RDD, means everything gets divided into RDD. As I speak about architecture, you will understand. I don't wanted to bore today directly with the theory, but still to start the class only I need to do some theory rather than directly giving you a technical solving problem. So this basic is required. Okay, so you have to understand everything is RDDs and it does not get destroyed and it is distributed in nature, and it is also fault tolerant. It is fault tolerant. It is fault tolerant means something happens to the one RDD, something corruption happens. It has 3-4 replica of this. Allo is corrupted. It will have 3 or 4 or 5 replicas. So one gets corrupted, even it has 3-4. That means it is fault tolerant. Means something has an issue, still you can recover. It has that, and also which is faulted also can be recovered. Okay, it understands where we stopped, and there is something called DAX. I don't want to complicate, but yeah, right now you understand it is fault tolerant. Means some way your allo in the RDD got corrupted, it can be recovered. Okay, so there is no thing called corrupted, we can't get the data. Okay, so that is the meaning of that. And also immutable distributed collection, same thing which I talked. I am writing here immutable distributed collections of objects. Objects means your allo is an object, word is an object, which means once you create an RDD you cannot change. That means, so know this, all these are a fundamental which you should know. You can't directly jump into the technical problem and know. Spark basic funda is RDD. RDD means resilient distributed data set. As the name itself suggests, resilient means it is not destroyable, immutable, fault tolerant, whatever you can call this 3 or 2, you can call this. And distributed means it can be easily splitted and sent across the cluster or CPUs or different devices, whatever meaning you can understand, that's fine. Okay, the same thing I am telling. That means you can, you create an RDD, you cannot change. Same thing, this one only I am giving you more depth in splitting and giving more information. That means once you create an RDD, you cannot change it. You cannot change it. We will see all the examples how to create RDD and all. That means you cannot change it. So you can create a new one from that, but whatever is there, you can't change it. Okay. That's why if you can't change it only, then it is fault tolerant, it becomes resilient, you will have a backup, all those things. If you keep on changing, it becomes a variable. Variable value keeps on changing, but this is not a variable. Okay, you cannot change it. Each data set in RDD, so this is more information which you will see. Each data set in RDD. See, same thing what I explained, what I told, I am dividing and giving the information. Each data set in RDD is divided into logical partitions. See, you can do distributions of when you partition the data. Allo Python will not be one data. It can be split into 3-4 data. HE as one data, LL as one data, O space as one data. We had done right last week only when I did map reduce concept. All the data breaks and again clubs. Same idea. So that means each data is divided into logical part. Already I have done the architecture, map reduce and all, you know that. You just imagine that how map divides the data, does all the splitting and again sums the data. That means first divides means it starts going to different machine. That means one task, if you have given one task, 3 people do that task, they break the task. Maybe they have given 3 assignments to you. 3 people are doing one assignment, and at the end it is clubbing and you are telling I have done the assignment. That is how like it is doing internally. So each data set in RDD is divided into logical partitions which can be computed on different nodes. this became more technical, but yeah, the meaning is same, which can be computed on different nodes of the cluster, on different nodes of the cluster. Means same thing, we call it as nodes, but if you can understand it as a CPU, that's fine. Different CPUs, same concept. I have explained you this fourth or fifth time. Day one also I explained about vertical scaling, horizontal scaling. Even in the middle I explained, last to last week also I explained map reduce and also horizontal vertical partitioning. The same meaning. Spark is number one because of all these features. Whatever, this simple word will give all the whatever I have told here. This simple three words are giving that answer. Resilient distributed data set. That means it is, what to say, immutable. Once you create an RDD from the Spark, it is not destroyable. Maybe you can create a new object, but that object you can't change the value as a variable. It is distributed, means it goes to a different partitions, different devices, different CPUs. That's what nodes of clusters, logical partitions, same meaning. And here also immutable distribution collection. Okay, so that is what the Spark. Okay, one more thing. Whenever you want to create an RDD, you need to create a Spark session. In Spark, you have to create something called Spark session. Okay, when you can't directly create an RDD, so you have to first create a Spark session, which is an entry point to the Pyspark application. Okay, but I want to give this as an highlight because I have seen for the student, they have asked in the interview, how will you create a Spark? The interviewer will be expecting, first he will tell, first you have to create a Spark session by creating a builder function, but directly they jump into the program and interviewer will tell, yeah, he has never worked on the Spark. You can't directly create a Spark. First you have to create Spark session, something like Spark session dot builder function. I will show you that example, but let it be a note so that you understand how to create what are the basic things you have to require to create a Spark. So RDD creation. In order to create an RDD, first you need to create a Spark session. Which is an entry point to the Pyspark application. Spark session can be created using a builder function. We will see this now. So create a Spark session. Okay, one more point. After that we will directly see how to create a Spark by importing a Spark session. So in order to create Spark session programmatically, okay, that point also I want to give. Just know this because many of the students would have worked 1 to 3 months in the Spark, and in the interview they will, first question they will ask is, how do you create a Spark? They will forget the Spark session and all. So, but they will be expecting in the interview. So that's why I want to give a point. In order to, even for me, they have asked this question. That's why I have I have thought it to give. In order to create a Spark session programmatically, that is in your .py file. .py file means Python file. In Pyspark, you need to use the builder pattern method. That means builder function. Next, go or create function method returns an already existing Spark function. So I'll just give you get or create, not go, get or create. I will show you after this, that example I'll show you. These two functions should be there. Builder, builder function and get or go create function. Okay, so let us see that example directly. This is a Spark. Okay, Spark means Python and Spark function. Okay, for this I have done a different kind of drama. Okay, I've installed Docker is like a VMware. Okay, with that, like we can do that. I just want to do this as a full screen. Okay, let me check later. I can also make this as a full screen. It's not happening. There should be some option. Okay, let us directly do. See, always you have to import Pyspark. Okay, you can also do with PyCharm. For that only they have given you that all the all the links and all, but I am completely using other way. Okay, from Pyspark.sql import Spark session, Spark Spark. See, any program, if you want to execute Spark, this is a basic thing you have to do. Without this, the Spark will not work. Spark equal to Spark session dot builder. See here, dot builder dot master master local. See, this is a node. See, I am not using multiple nodes and all here. This is a local. I am just using a single node. But in the real-time environment, you will have 100 nodes, 1000 nodes, all those things. It needs to say node. That means only one CPU I am using. This is just for practice purpose. So I am not overcomplicating. Master. Always you will have a master and slave architecture. Last time also I told. Master will have at the top, it will keep all the metadata information, and under this it will have a task. What are the tasks is created and all. Okay, so dot app application name, you can give any name for the application name. I give Spark classes, Spark classes. This is a user defined name. Spark equal to and dot get or create. Let us see whether this works. Means okay, run is there. I should not get any error. I got some error. Okay, spelling mistake. B-U-I-L-D-R, builder. Let me run again. I think it has worked now. If it is star means it is still running. Star means it's running. It's running or completed. Okay, it is completed. See here. If previously it was star, that means there is no error, there is no issue. After this only I can run the Pyspark. This is just a header. Like I need to import Pyspark. A Spark session is there in the SQL, and builder, master, how many you can have, 3, 4 nodes. Local means you are doing in my system. Usually in the company it would not be local, it would be some server name and all. But as we are doing in our laptop, so it would be local. You can give 5, 6 and all. That means so many clusters will be there. But as it's a practice, I have given one. And application name, you can give any application name, and get or create. So as I told, get or create method returns an already existing Spark session. Okay, it just returns this Spark session, that's all, which session is running. So this is by default, this is a way. This is a user defined name. Remaining is you have to write the same, and this also local node or some other node. If it is a server name will be there, and you give as many thing is there. Apart from these two, remaining is constant. Okay, so that is what I had given you. So now let us use the how to write one small program. Okay, it's easy. So using parallelize method, or which way? Okay, let us first write here something, data list, so you understand. So now you understand, this is a list. Inside list I am writing Java, some 20,000, maybe the salary for a person who teaches Java. However you want to think, you think. Next, Python. See, now directly if I taught you without Python or SQL, you will find it difficult. What is this square bracket and all? Now you are able to understand. Okay, inside list they are trying to create a tuple. That is also possible. Scala, and this is a sequence. Okay, so now after this I will try to create an RDD. It's just a user defined name. Don't think I am writing RDD, that's why it's creating. You know, it's a variable. Spark context context parallelize. There is a method called parallelize with which you can create an RDD. Parallelize, parallelize, and you will give this data list, because data list contains all the information. So let me run this. Okay, what is the error? This is not a good editor, that's why, like, okay, yeah, I missed this. Is it still running? Okay. See here, it's not displaying. To display the data, you have to use something called show. There is something called show to display. Okay, show will display the data. Let us see that. Show RDD. Okay, show RDD. Still I have to explain. There are some concepts. Spark is called lazy evaluation. That means, okay, show is not defined. RDD.show, do I need to do RDD.show like this? Okay, what it is not defined. RDD object has no attribute. Okay, RDD does not have, maybe, okay, but yeah, it's created. We will see that how to do that. I have to do another 2-3 steps. It is created. Okay, I will show you how to display the data and all. We will see that. So let us take a point. Parallelize method is used to create an RDD from the above list. That means, let us just learn using RDD. Okay, note parallelize method, but this is not the normal way which we do to create an RDD, but yeah, there is other ways also. So parallelize method is used to create a RDD from the list. It's a list, you already know. Okay, so RDD operations. Okay, so usually we have RDD operation, 2 operations. So transformation and action. Action is something called show. Means here it does not display. After show it displays. So we will see that example also, but let me give the point. See, all these are very important. When Spark comes, it's not only technically they ask like your understanding, like, okay, Spark, okay, tell me what is the entry point of Spark session. You have to do get or go create. What does Spark create? Basically it creates RDDs. What are the different ways to create RDD? One is parallelize method we can use to see, all are theory questions. It's not like they give you answer. SQL and Python, no theory question, all are technical question. But as soon as Python Spark comes, because I have experience, I know it's not like I'm asking students and telling, I know what will happen. Okay, for me sometimes hardly I get one or two of the Spark questions only. Okay, I get more of the theoretical understanding of the thing. So have you understood this or that? Okay, so here also there are two things, like in the RDD operations are two things. One is transformation and one more is operations. Okay, so RDD operations, because all these are very important if you ask me. So some way it's advantage for you. Not everything is practical. Some way it's disadvantage. You have to understand the concept. Blindly you can't do the thing. Python and SQL okay, but Spark AWS is more mainly of architectural thing, like how you pull the data, how you use it, which transformation you use, how you use, what is the performance. Okay, I am repeating the question so many times. By this time you will know what is an interview. Why I am repeating? Because I have attended 40-50 interviews from a span of 3 years. I everything is in my head, like what questions in interview they ask. Not only in interview, while working what is required. Because these things you will get in Google. Yeah. Today Google is there. Back 8-10 years back we were not able to get. But some of the architectural problems, what happens, you have to think by your head. To think by your head, you should have that foundation strong. Like, okay, this is transformation, this is actions, and almost what to say. Our sparks are called lazy evaluation. What does lazy? See, it has done processing here, but did it showed the output? Even you write 100 line, if you don't give the actions like show, count, all those are action. Action means to display the data in your SQL, like select function. These are not select functions. So in the Spark, we call it as lazy evaluation. Means you write any complex logic, it does not give the output. Means sometimes it does not calculate. Only if you give the action, it calculates. Action means like, okay, it's like you only. Like until there is no exam tomorrow, even 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, they teach you. You will just listen. You will not work hard for the interview. But only when they tell you the exam date, 1 week, 2 week, you will study and prepare. The same way here also, there are two operations, transformation and actions. Transformations are like complex logic, everything. It does that, but it does not give the output. Maybe it does not even do the logic calculation. Okay, so even if I do add, like, okay, data list a plus b, a divided by d, it does not do that activity. But only once I call the action, it does the activity. Means it is a lazy evaluation. Okay, Spark is always lazy evaluation. So RDD operations, the same thing I am coming here on Spark, on Pyspark. See here, I just wanted to do the what practical thing. I am just ending up in teaching so many concepts. But when I did Python, I hardly did any theoretical thing. Okay, so understand why I am doing this. Okay, on Pyspark RDD, you can perform two kind of operations. One is RDD transformations. Transformation means all your logic. One more is RDD actions. RDD transformations. Transformations are lazy evaluation. Just now I told. Whatever you do, it is like when you run the transformation, for example, update, instead of updating this operation, return another RDD. Okay. Okay. So RDD transformations are lazy evaluation. I think this is enough right now. Transformation or lazy evaluations. Sorry, lazy operations. Actions, RDD actions. Operation that trigger computation and return RDD values. Here, as soon as you call action, a plus b will actually execute. Operations that trigger computations and return RDD values to the driver. driver and all I'll teach you, but right now no. You have two kind of operation. Transformation means all transformation, filter, router, whatever you do is a transformation. Even you do a plus b, a minus b, it does not do anything. Okay, it at that time what happens is, if you understand, if you have understood what I've sold deeply, if I want to extend this, okay, when you run the transformation, for example update, what will happen? Instead of updating the current RDD, these operations create another RDD. Are you able to sync with this, what I told right now? See, RDTs are immutable. You should not get confused. Sir, I do update for the operation. So how does that RDD actually update? Because you told at the beginning only RDDs are immutable. You can't change. That is the answer here. When you run a transformation, for RDD is created, but you try to update from 10,000 to 50,000. It does not update Python salary to 50,000. Instead of updating the current RDD, this operation create another RDD. This is an example. This is a statement to say that RDDs are immutable. You cannot destroy or create. When you do update for a current RDD, it creates a new RDD. Okay, so that is where the internally it happens. So all these things are very, very important in interview. The questions would be like this one. Okay, so understanding with Spark and AWS are more important rather than only blindly doing. Okay, so yeah, so RDD actions I gave, right? So RDD transformations. Okay, RDD transformations, I will give you some more explanations, because our core is transformations and action only complete what we do, technical thing. Okay, transformation on our Spark RDD returns another RDD, you know. As soon as you do transformation, don't think that current RDD gets updated, new RDD gets created. Okay, this is a very important point. You should not get confused. Transformations on Spark RDD return another RDD. And transformations or lazy evaluation. Lazy evaluation means you do calculation updation, it does not update until you do an action. Action means there are some function like show, count, group by, all those are actions. When you do that, like it's like a select statement in your SQL, only then it displays the output, or else it does not display the output. Means, or else here not only displaying, it does not do any calculation. It's a lazy. Lazy means what? You don't do the work until the last day. That's called the way this RDDs also, means this transformations also. Transformation on return another RDD, and transformations are lazy evaluation, or lazy, L-A-Z-Y, lazy evaluations. Lazy evaluations, meaning they don't execute, until you call the action. They don't execute until you call the action. This can be one good interview question. So some transformations which we will be seeing also, some transformations, transformations on RDDs are flat map. It flattens. I think we have seen map function already. Map. We have seen filter function in Python. We sort by key. Sorting. Sort by key means it will have a dictionary kind of value, key value pair that you sort. Okay, and return a new RDD, instead of updating the current. Instead of updating the current. See, this is what people will think. Oh, they told that it is immutable. When we are doing transformation, it is updating. Internally, it would have created a new RDD. Okay, not worked on the current RDD. That is how fault tolerant. Something happens while updating, you will get the previous version before updating how the your RDD object was there. Pyspark means as soon as you create, it's RDD. RDDs are immutable, resilient and distributed. Okay, and next thing is you can do two kind of operation, transformation and actions. Transformations are lazy evaluation. That means whenever I have the PPTs also on this, but today I wanted to do practical, but these are basic. I can't directly do practical. Yeah, it's okay. Again, we will go through that. I have a good PPTs where I'll show that RDDs, how it shows, how it splits and all. You will have more clarity, but right now you get this. Once I speak the same thing 2-3 times, you will be very confident on that. So transformations are lazy evaluation. That means you do update, you do delete, nothing will happen. It will be idle, but once you call an action, that time the activity happens. So actions like show, count, all those things are there. Usually I have also used 2 or 3 group Y, all those things. With that, what will happen is your operations will happen. Not only displays, it also computes. Know this. These things are very important. Okay. If you don't know this, you only practice for 100 days. That means you don't know the basics. RDD action operation returns the values from an RDD to the, in other words, RDD functions. Okay. Already I have given here. This is a good explanation. Okay, I don't want to give driver, all those things, because you will not understand. I can give you some examples. What are RDDs? Same thing, count, whatever it displays, those becomes RDD. Count, show, okay, first, maximum, reduce, first, max, reduce, all these when called, all are actions, the computation and result display will happen. So now, okay, but let me do these things. It's okay. All are interview questions. I don't want to skip those. Directly moving to the technical thing. So data frame. Already you know data frame if you have used pandas. I just gave you a brief of pandas because I told we will be mainly using in Spark, but I gave you a good assignment on pandas so that you know the pandas. But if you had not worked, I'm sorry. Okay. So we have something called data frame. See, whenever in Spark also we create a data frame. I've already showed you in pandas. It's exactly as pandas data frame, but internally here it's a distributed environment. There pandas is not a distributed environment. I have one interview question also after this. Is Pyspark faster than pandas? Why and all. Okay. So now let me give you a point. Data frame is data frame in Spark is distributed. See, I can even add a project where it had almost 1000 dB of data, like almost petabyte of data. So I had done like 5000, 6000 partitions. Okay, and I can't simply do the partition. I have to understand, like as soon as you do partition, I'll tell you the drawback. Because one partition will have more data, one partition will have less data. That result to a skewing of data. What do you mean by skewing? SKWEING, something it's there. That is again an interview question. Skewing of data means one data would be lesser, one data would be more. That we have to manage. So lot of things happen. It's not only doing. Maybe for you guys it might be doing. I was telling on my work activity. Okay. Okay. Those things I'll cover. Give me a minute. Let me put the charger. See, again, I want to know, like, maybe if I have one more one-on-one session, if everyone attends, it's good. It's not on the interview part only when I'm doing something. It's also asking your, like, are you a fresher? Are you 1 year? Are you 2 year? So I understand, like, what kind of people are there. Like, what is the exact question they might ask. Okay, if you are going as an experienced guy, like telling 2 years I have worked on this, or you want to go as fresher, so all these things will help me in understanding better. Okay, all right. So data frame is Spark is distributed. Yes, DISTRIBUTED. Distributed. Data frame in Spark is distributed collection of data organized in named columns. Same thing what we did in pandas, right? And it's very important. I told at the end point, an ETL data engineer loves the data to be like in your SQL table, how in database. But because today's data is so volatile, so variety data, I gave you 4 V's of big data. There were 5-6 weeks, but your top 4 V's: volume, velocity, variety, veracity. The data is not in the structured data. So that's what a data engineer has to always think of, flattening the data and getting the data in a structured data. So Spark has that facility, like after you get the data, you can also do filtering before doing data frame, or to make it more easy. See, as soon as you do data frame, you can write the Spark SQL. If you don't have data frame, you can do with Python SQL also, but data frame is more convenient because you have a tabular structure, and also performance wise it is good. Having your data in data frame with performance wise, it will be good. How and all, I'll give you the notes later. Okay, there is one interview question also, but yeah, we love to have a data in a table format. That is a very important thing, where we can play with the data once we have a table format. So that's what is a distributed collection of data organized in name columns, means rows and columns you will get. Okay, that's what the thing is there. I can just give that it is conceptually equivalent, CONCEPTUA, conceptually equivalent to the table in relational database, but with richer optimizations underwood. Okay, so this is enough. So this is a good interview question. Is Spark faster than pandas? Is Spark faster than pandas? Why? This is again a question for you. Copy paste it. Just get me the answer tomorrow. I am pasting here. Just copy paste and tell me why actually Spark is faster than pandas. Why you have to tell me. Okay. So let us create a data frame. How to create a data frame? So let us see how to create a data frame. This we will see. Maybe with RDD it's not working. So let us create data frame. Usually, like, we create a data frame. Okay. Create data frame. Okay. So how to create a data frame? So something. It's a variable. There is a Spark dot. See, without this it would have never worked. I have already ran this command in this in this kernel. Only then remaining commands get executed. If you want to try, when you do this without running this command, try to directly run the operation. So it will throw an error. Spark session is not available. Builder class is not available. That is a thing. That error will come. I should have showed you that before. Yeah, I can still show later by closing and opening data frame. But now let us create a data frame. As soon as I create a data frame, it gives a tabular structure. Okay. So I'll copy paste this only. Okay. I don't want to type. Why it's not copying? Copy, right click, copy cell, paste, spark.read. I don't know. Or this side it has gone. Okay, it's okay. So I'll just copy this much. Okay, and next I'll copy this. Okay, next df.show. Show is for displaying without, I will do without this first. Run if syntax is fine. Okay, syntax error. You know that syntax is very important, that indentation and all. So the little bit struggle in this, the indentation. In PyCharm only it is good actually. Incomplete input. What have I missed? Bracket. This is extra. This I have to close. Okay. Now let me run. Okay. Test run. I have not got an output. It's a lazy evaluation, I told. Transformation. Data frame creating is also one transformation. Now I will just do df.show. Now see, it is running. Star means it's running. It is taking some time because I am doing in my local. See here, can you see? You got a tabular. This is very friendly for a developer. As soon as you have tabular, it's a column. I can rename the column. Now, right now it's showing _1, _2. We can give any name. Courses, salary, amount, fees, training amount, whatever we want we can give. But can you look at create data frame? Will create a tabular like your RDBMS. It gives a table. This is a very convenient way for a data engineer. As soon as I get the data like this, I can play with the data. I can use all transformation. I can do Spark SQL. Everything. Just now I told working with Spark SQL. Let us try to do a Spark SQL. As you already know, select star. We'll try to do this with this activity. Let me do Spark SQL. Now I need to write a Spark SQL query. Let me do that. Like, that is a good thing. But I have told you with Spark SQL not everything can be done, because sometimes the complex data will be there where I'll need for loop, if loop, complex activity. I can't do everything with Spark. But there are simple projects they do only with Spark SQL, which you already know, where you don't need to scratch it too much on Python. Okay, so let us do. First you have to create a temp table. Means all this has to be in one temp view. So for that there is a command create or replace temp view, tmp temp view. I'll give some name, sample data. Next I will give df2.spark.sql. You have to give spark.sql. Now the table name is sample data. For this, the table name is sample data. Now what I do is Spark SQL select. The table name is _1. Right now we will have to display with this, because later we will try to rename sample data. Okay, I'll just give underscore. We can't have like that with space and all. And also, see here, it's your SQL. See here, you just get the data. Now you can do your SQL. With this also you will not get an output, but in your SQL you are getting an output. Okay, what is the error? Now create or replace temp view. Column denoted by name. Is there anything the capital or create or replace temp view? Okay, create or replace temp view. This looks correct. I think O is capital. This is a problem. Now I am struggling because indentation error, it's not showing. In PyCharm it would have been shown. df2 is not defined. Okay, df2 directly I gave df2 equal to spark.sql. Okay, it is successfully ran. Now I am not able to see the data. How can I see the data? Can you tell? I'm explaining the same thing from an hour. How to see the data? You can chat there. How to see the data? How to see? Someone chat. The same thing I am explaining from 1 hour non-stop. You can't see the data until you don't. It's a lazy evaluation. Transformation actions. You have to give actions. Okay, in your SQL it will work like this, but here you have to do like this. Only then you will be able to see the data. Can you see here? See here with SQL I can do filter also, where _2 equal to maybe there is something, right? 1000, 10,000. Okay, so will this work? Yeah, got it. See here, all the things you can do. This is also transformation for us. Some projects in Pyspark will work only like this. That means you already know all the technical skills. You already know. That's what I told. When you know Python, SQL, Pyspark is not very complicated. Apart from the concept, what I need to teach, like lazy evaluation, actions, some of these things which I will be covering. Okay. So I will give you some more points, but before that let me copy paste over there so that it becomes easy for you to practice by yourself. Create data frame, and I copy this. Next, Pyspark SQL temporary views or Pyspark SQL TMPORARY temporary views are session scope and will not be available available if the session that creates it terminates. See, what does this mean? Means, see, these are session scope. That means right now this session is there. If I close it here, next time you will not have this table only. Okay, that is what it's telling. So if you want to always save this table permanently, you have to use a function called create global temp view. This is a temp view. There is a global temp view which creates this table permanently and saves somewhere in the kernel of the Pyspark. So that is what I am telling. This is temporary. As soon as I close this, it vanishes off. But sometimes I want to permanently save this table. I will use what? Create or replace global temp view. So that is what I'll give that point also. If you want to have a temporary view that is shared among all session and keep alive until the Spark application, you can create global temporary view. If you want it permanently, create global global temporary view using create globe temp view using create. You can try all these things. Create global temp view, VIEW view. Okay. So next, what is the advantages of Pyspark? I will give you. All these are interview questions. Advantages, ADVANT, advantages of Pyspark. See, Pyspark is very fast. The reason it is fast because it is in memory. That means it doesn't work with hard disk or server and all. On your RAM, it will work on in memory, and it is very distributed, highly distributed. Means you can have 1000 partition. That means 1000 people will be working. Okay, very efficient distribution it has. So these 2 points are the advantages. Pyspark is in memory and distributed that allows you to process data efficiently in distributed manner. Hope you are understanding here only. Okay, there is nothing like two things. You can ask me any questions you have doubt. Here only you understand of. Like Pyspark, by the day today I do, you should have that overview. Yeah, Pyspark fault tolerant. By default it creates RDD. It is a lazy evaluation. Means immediately it does not do calculation. Only once we call action it does. It is in memory. That means Pyspark works on the RAM. In memory means RAM. Okay, not your hard disk and all. Okay, so it is very fast and distributed, you already know. Okay, it distributes to different system, means always big data. Already I have told you about horizontal scaling. Big data is horizontal scaling. It has beat supercomputer, because supercomputer is also built on vertical scaling. That means a single machine. You just increase your RAM hardware and there is a limitation, but in vertical scaling you keep on adding a cluster. That means new CPUs. So same way this works, and it is a distributed fashion. That's why it's very fast. Okay. So 100 times, this is the very thing. Applications run on Pyspark is 100 times faster, 100x faster, 100x faster than traditional systems. See here, 100 times faster means you can understand. Any project, big data, we use Pyspark. We love to use Pyspark. That means this is again common for you. Okay, this is common. So as soon as you know you are working, you have to work on Pyspark. You should by default know Python. You should by default know SQL. Next, Pyspark is also common. Okay. Using Pyspark we can process. Okay, using Pyspark, yeah, we can process data from Hadoop, HDFS. See, Pyspark was first introduced by Hadoop only, which I have worked. Hadoop was the first big data thing. Using Pyspark, we can process data from Hadoop, HDFS. Hadoop file system, same as AWS S3, and many file systems, you know, Parquet, ORC. Still not many people have given that PPT. Tell me about Pys, what are those files, ORC, Parquet files. I am still expecting from you guys. Okay, let me see when everyone would have done. Pyspark, okay, I don't want to speak on that. Okay, so data frame creation we saw. So you can, there are different ways to create a data frame. So let us see. Now last time we did not see with the columns. Now let us see with the columns. Okay, so now let me create, I want to make it big. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so let us create with the columns names, like let me first give data equal to I can still use the syntax in PyCharm just for indentation and all, then copy paste here. See how important indentation. That's why PyCharm and all, if you don't have all the indentation in your compiler, it's very hard. Okay, so now here only, so let me just have something, data equal to, I'll create some data. See, try to install the Spark by this week. By next week I'll be giving you questions, so you should be doing that. Okay, don't expect me to do everything, so it doesn't work out. That way you also know that. If I only do, you will never learn. You would have already experienced in Python. Okay, you would have understood, but only once you do, once you get confused, once you again rethink, you might understand 60-70%. You know that. So please don't expect me to do. Only this week I'll do. So by next week, try to install the software. If you have already installed, it's good. You can try the same thing today. Okay. So I will not end here. I will add another few data in the same way. Okay. So we'll have Michael, M-I-C-H-E-L, Michael Rose. Okay, 94 0503 1000. I'll have again one more data. Eva Rose is there. Okay. Okay, so let this data be there. Okay, I'll just copy this data here. Data equal to, after data. Okay, so I'll also have columns for this. Columns would be like first name, last name, date of birth, gender and salary. Okay, so I can add that. So what I'll do is I can create columns equal to first name. See here how I am doing. You would have got a very raw file which does not have any columns, which is not in a proper way. Now you are giving all the column names, all the thing you are doing. First name, last name, LST, last name. After the date of birth, gender, salary, date of birth, gender, okay, gender and salary, gender comma salary. Okay, so now this also I'll try to get here. Okay, so now let me run these two first, whether it's fine. Did it run? I think it ran. Okay, so next what I'll do, I'll try to create a data frame for this. df equal to spark dot create data frame, create data frame, create data frame, data equal to data. Next is schema equal to columns, COLUMNS, columns. Here so easy, it's not so complicated. See here, Pyspark is not so complicated. Next I run this, I'm not getting an output. I am expecting column names plus this. How can I get an output? Since it is a lazy evaluation, always you have to call the action. Only once you call the action, you will get output. See here, so beautifully you have got first name, last name, date of birth. It's same as your SQL. Now you can write all your SQL. Spark.SQL you do. First you create or replace temp view, or you want a permanent table, give global view. You start doing Spark.SQL. All your SQL, whatever you have learned in your Oracle classes, maybe a small changes will be there. Everything will help you now. Where, join, on, in, all the things. That's why I wanted you to learn SQL. So with this, in the business logic in your organization, they tell filter this data, get this data, do one more calculation. Salary should be given with commission. Add it 4,000 into some commission. So there will be lakhs of data. So once they tell, try to iterate through all the data, then go for Pythonic Spark, which also we will see that this is like a Spark SQL. Okay, so let us go with the next things. One second, one second. I am thinking there are some theories whether to go ahead with theory or give me a minute. I'll just go with theory also parallelly, as I know theories are very important in this, and also like I'll just check whether I have PPTs for that in the next week. So already we spoke about RDDs, that is fine. Okay, so I want to show about RDD creations. Okay, let me show you with one diagram. So how internally it happens. So uh, MS Paint. Okay, see, you will have a list of data like this. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, whatever. Like this, the data will be there. This is a Python data list. You know, Python list. Python list data. Now RDD creation, what will RDD creation will happen? Already I have explained you theory, but I wanted to show you diagrammatically. RDD creation. RDD creations, what will happen? Couple of RDDs get created. I told you allow Python would not be 1. Here I am showing with the number. Here it will be 1, 2, 3. Okay. So next one more RDD would be created. 4, 5, 6. Next one more RDD will be created. 7, 8, 9. Next one more RDD would be created. 10, 11, 12. So that means these are RDDs. These are a separate RDD. I can put this in a box. This is one RDD, one RDD, one RDD, one RDD. See, almost 4 RDDs got created. Okay, with this. This is how internal, and this is again distributed. This would be gone to one CPU. Okay, this would be in one CPU. This would be in one more CPU. This would be in one more CPU. This would be in one more CPU. So it would execute fast and get all the data together. Okay, that is the beauty of RDDs. So we have already seen through Spark context.parallelize, you are able to create an RDDs. Okay, so there is one more thing like repartition and coalesce. Okay, so I need to increase this partition or decrease this partition. As a user, I have a control. Assume there are 20-30 partitions have happened and I see there are very less data. Only 3-4 data is there. There are 100 GB RAM for only executing a very small data. I understand, like I don't need so many of to see partitions, because too many partition will also destroy the system. Slowness. Less partition also, this is where the problem happens. Spark as personally in my work I tell, I usually don't worry about this small coding and all. What happens in a system when you have petabyte of data, when we can't blindly create a partition. Too many partition will also slow down and becomes very costly. The money, everything charges money. It's not like you create 500 600 partition. It's like you for your company you get 500 people, but there is only one project. That means you have to sell your house to give the salary for them. Okay, only if you have 100 project you can get 500 people. So The same way, you cannot blindly create a partition. You cannot blindly not create a partition. So you should have techniques. Suppose you have created more partitions. Now there is a way to repartition the data. Like you want to increase the partition, decrease the partition, or coalesce. There is one more thing called coalesce. Coalesce will always reduce the data. If you have 4, you can make it 2, but repartition can increase or decrease the partition. Let me give you the point on that. Again, this is an interview question. I just want to cover. I can't leave like that and just do the practical thing, because usually these are more important. Repartition and coalesce. Repartition and coalesce. C-O-A-L-E-S-C. Sometimes we need to repartition we'll see all these examples. Repartition the RDD. Pyspark provides 2 ways to repartition. But the problem with seeing example is good for your thing, but in an interview they will directly give you a scenario. I have lot of partition, I want to reduce the partition, how will you do it? We can do in 2 ways. One is repartition, give a number of partition, or coalesce. Then they will ask what is the difference between repartition and coalesce. When you will go for coalesce and repartition. Suppose even if I show this practical, the interview questions would be this one. Okay, that's why I am little bit particular in giving notes on these things and explaining you more. Okay, you got why. Okay, sometimes you need to partition the RDD. Pyspark provides 2 ways. But yeah, there are good assignment questions also. I'll giving you. Make sure you solve those things. 2 ways to repartition. 2 ways to repartition. First, using repartition method, which shuffle the data from all nodes. Repartition, it shuffles the data from all nodes. Which is also full shuffle. So understand, full shuffle means full costly. Okay, if you have thousands of partition, full shuffle means it is very time consuming. Having crores of data, it's not like 100, 200, 1 lakh data. It would have more than crores, 100, 500 crores of data. Okay, so and the second is coalesce. C-O-A-L-E-S-C, coalesce function. If you have 4 partition, do coalesce to move data from just 2 nodes. That means if you have 4 partition data and doing in your technical means in your code you do coalesce of 2, 4 partition will be reduced to 2 partition. Moves data from just 2 nodes. So they will ask you which is better. When you can go, see, for reducing you can also use repartition, but drawback of repartition is the repartition will go with all the nodes. If you have 100 nodes, all the 100 nodes it does the shuffle. See here, it does the full shuffle. But coalesce will only work if you want to, if you have 100 nodes, you want to make like 100 to 2, you can't do 100 to or some 80 nodes, you want to do only 20 or 25 nodes, it will work and merge it. So it does not do a full shuffle. So in the interview they will ask repartitions and coalesce difference. Coalesce always used to reduce the partition, it can't increase the partition. But if you want to increase the partition, go with repartition. If you want to decrease the partition, don't go with repartition because it does the full shuffle. Go with coalesce. The reason is it just with some of the nodes, some of the partition only it work and reduces the nodes. It does not do a full shuffle. So it's not a costly thing. So very important in the interview. Okay, so again I'll give you this for you to make a note by yourself. When to use repartition. This is a very important interview question. When to use, this would be the question directly. When to use, as soon as you tell how to reduce and all, you as soon as you speak about repartition college, they will ask when to go use repartition and when to go for college. So this I have told you verbally. I want you guys to research on this, make a note by yourself, or else in the interview they will ask the same question. You would have only known the question, not the answer. Okay. Okay. So Pyspark, already you know, transformations are lazy. Okay, lazy means it does not get executed. So RDD1, as soon as you update, it creates RDD2, later RDD4, RDD3, like that. So once you call an action, it works because it's a lazy evaluation. Also there are transformation types. Okay, let me give you a note of that. Okay, RDD transformation types. RDD transformation types. Okay, let us take a break for 15 minutes. Let us continue at 5 or 5:5. Okay. Okay, let us take a break. We will meet around 5:5. Thank you. Okay, all right. So let us continue. So we just spoke about the Spark RDDs, and once it's created, it can't be destroyed. So any update or delete happens, one more RDD objects gets created and it performs that the operation. Next is like we have lazy evaluations in the operation of transformation. That means it does not do any computation at transformation level. Only once you call the action it happens. So some of the transformations I just listed here, some of the actions I have listed here, and for anything to give a tabular structure we use a data frame. So we saw some example, and also you can write a SQL query by creating it as a temp view or a global view for a permanent storage. Okay, that's what I have given. And RAM, Spark works on RAM, means all the calculation happens in RAM. That's why it's very fast and distributed. It is 100 times faster. And also sometimes what happens, you have more partitions gets created, so you want to reduce. There is a concept called skewness. That means you will have large data in one partition, very less data in one partition, and it happens. So we will reduce the number of partitions because we don't need so much partition. We have a less number of data. So we reduce the data by using coalesce rather than using repartition, because repartition works on all the partitions, full shuffle. It's very costly. Only once you want to increase the partition you use repartition, because coalesce can only reduce, it can't increase the partition. So that's what I've asked you to just read about repartition and coalesce, because again it's a good interview questions. So I was speaking right now on RDD transformation types. Okay, so so there are like what to say, two types of transformations. One is narrow transformation. This is also interview question. I can see lot of interview questions, so that's why I want to cover all these things. And wide transformations, and all these are very important while doing, because it's not about doing, it's about how you do is very important in Spark. Like what happens is, narrow transformation does not means what I mean to say. Let me show you with a diagram, that's more appropriate. I can save this also as partitions, interlab partitions. Okay, so I'll have a new file new. So if I come to the narrow narrow transformation, so I'll just have like this: partition 1, partition 2, partition 3, whatever it is. So I'll make a note here as partition partition 1. Okay, if I partition 2, if I have here partition 3. Okay, so this can be an RDD. This is RDD1. So now I will have transformations here. Okay, so obviously we'll have transformations. So I'll make it as RDD transformation TR ENSFORMETION. So it's a transformation. Okay, just I have written like this. Okay, so okay, RDD transformation. Okay, from here we will have again the partitions, partition 1, partition 2. Can I copy this? Okay, I'll just do here 1, 2, 3. See, with diagram it's easy to make you understand than just explain. Okay, so same thing, PARTITI1, partition 1, partition 2, partition 3. That means I have to make it 2. One second. Okay, this is partition 2, this is partition 3. Okay, so the data will just move, transformation, like filter is a transformation, map is a transformation, reduce is a transformation. So this can be told as a what? Narrow transformation. Means you have some activity, you filter, it goes here. You have in partition 2, it filters, it goes here. That means it's not shuffling. So shuffling means what? I'll just write the next diagram for white transformation. So what happens in the white transformation is data from partition 1 will go to partition 2, partition 3, because it has part of data here. Okay, in partition 2, part of data in partition 3. So it shuffles. Okay, so shuffling is very costly. In the Spark we call it as a shuffle. If you have hundreds of partition, it keeps on shuffling, then it is very costly. These are narrow transformations. As much time we have to use narrow transformation, like map is a narrow transformation. One-on-one, we have seen the Python example, map. For one input, one output, means, and also filter. All these are not a white transformation. That means it works on a single partition and tries to get the output. But white transformations, this is a narrow transformation, N-A-R-R-O-W, narrow transformation. So if I come to the white transformation, let me show you that. Home, okay, file, new. Same thing if I do with the white transformation. So okay, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. So you will have in the between transformation, so you will have PITI1 partition 1, copy this, 2 3 1 2 3. Okay, so here what will happen is the partitions will come from here, will also come from here. See, the shuffling will happen from here, this will go here, this will go here. So there is a shuffling process which is happening. So because of this shuffling process, it is costlier. Costlier means time and money, both the thing. It takes lot of time. It's not 1 GB, 2 GB data. It will be petabyte of data. That's why we are using big data. So these wider transformations like group by, all those things will work on all kind of data. For example, group by key, sort group by key basically. So all this works on lot of different partitions, which we have to smartly avoid. If we can avoid it, it's great. If we can't avoid, we have to use it. So that is also a big thing. The more partition, the more shuffle. The more shuffle, lot of time consumption happens. So these are the performance techniques. Like you have to think little bit deeply. You have to understand this first. Narrow transformation, wide transformations. Narrow transformation means it acts on a single partition. Wide transformation means it acts on a different partition. So as much as possible, I have to use the narrow transformation to avoid the shuffling. Shuffling are very costly operations. Okay, and they are means time consuming and also money consuming. Whereas narrow transformation works on a single partition, so it would not be much of time consuming and money consuming. So I can give you this. Let me save this also, white transformation. I have PPTs also, which I'll explain you. I haven't done Spark actually. I just did about big data, data warehouse. I'll speak about that, but it's okay. Good to know now also with a more structured way of giving the notes and all. Okay, something like map, flat map filter. All those are not white transformation. Group by means it groups all the data. So these are a true white transformation. Reduce by key. Okay, all these are a white transformation. So smartly as a developer, you reduce this, your program would be quicker. Okay, so program quicker means the output quicker, and it is sometimes it gets like it's not 5-10 minutes. It takes, if you properly follow, you would have got output in an hour. If you had used white transformation, it might take 5 or 6 hours, and there will be lot of programs like that. Okay, so that is one of the important thing you should know. So again, let me give you what are the things. So what we will be covering all these things, but I want to give it as a note with a proper partitioning. Okay, so methods and also method usage and description. Method usage and descriptions. Okay, so if I speak about methods, cache, CACHE, that means we can cache the data for later use. Cache means it stores temporarily. Caches the RDD. We can filter. You know filter. What are the things? There are many important things which we will be using in the Spark. Filter function will be using. Returns new RDD after applying. See here. Understand whatever I am trying to write and know this today only. Don't complicate. You study after 50 times you study, you understand this. RDDs are never destroyed. If you filter, new RDD gets created. That's what. If you see my statement, you filter a new RDD after applying filter function. After applying filter function on source data set. That is one of the reason why I am typing. I can just give some random notes because just explaining you will miss the important things. Like now you can understand. You can keep this in your mind today only, like IntelliB. Okay, desktop. Let me save it. Spark. Okay. Creates new RDD after applying filter function. Flat map. All these are important functions which we will be using in our Spark. Returns flatten map, meaning if you have data set. So if I explain, I don't know whether I'll just give you return, but there is one program in this. I don't want to give everything theoretically. I'll just give flattens the map. Meaning and all I don't want to explain. Map we have done. One of the thing in Python, the same thing. Applies transformation function and returns same number of elements in distributed. You should understand. Returns same number. Just revisit my Python map function. Same number of elements in distributed dataset. Distributed dataset. Spark means distributed. By default, you can understand. Partitions, map partitions are there. Okay. Better thing is I will give you the left hand side. You try to get the answer for this. Map partitions. This is possible. Tomorrow's class I will be asking you what is map partition and all. You get me the answer. Map partitions. Okay, I don't want. I will take union. union, you know, y equal to k. Okay, union. Sample also not so important for us. Yeah, you can get me the answer for this in tomorrow's class rather than me giving you the explanation. Intersection, distinction, this you will know. See here, this is same as SQL, right? Intersection, INTRSEC, intersection, distinct, TNCT, distinct, repartition. Just now we learned what is repartition. Okay, after repartition I can take as college, COALESC, college function. So this you can get the answer. It's not difficult. I don't want to give it. So now let us see Pythonic way of doing. Okay, so okay, I should also have the data. I want to save the data. I am looking, I will check. I want to get some data from somewhere. Can I get it? I have not seen that. I want to get some file, some data file, so that I can show some for loop where it works on all the data. If you have hundreds of data, I have to check it. Maybe by next week I'll check. I want to get some file. Okay, I wanted to show you an example. Let me see. If I go file, if I get one new notebook text file, okay, it opens here, text file. Okay, file, download, where it says here, what is this path? Mainly it is running here actually. Okay, will I get the file here if I keep in this path? Spark, 1 minute. C drive, users, okay, I have kept here, but I am not seeing that file here. Okay, I want to know how to keep the file here, so let me figure it out by next week. Okay, because I had one example to show you that for loop where it will iterate through that. Okay, right now we will limit ourselves with preparing a data. Okay, so so let us prepare the data for one of the example. 1 minute. Okay, so what we will do is, so let me create a data. Let me come here. So let me create one more data. So I will have country and this qualification or anything. So I will have USA. And I'll have, I'm preparing a data, and I'll have is California is the country, and next is New Jersey, USA, and New Jersey, whatever, and Florida, USA, Florida. Okay. Florida EFL. Okay, this is a data preparation. There are two ways I can import it. Right now I am not able to figure it out how to import any file. Okay, that I'll figure it out later. Okay, let me copy this. Okay, this is a new data. Let me run this. If was there any error. Bracket, what is the error? Okay, here the bracket is missing. Okay, I have the data here. So next what I'll do is, I should have this. Already I have created it. If I bring a new session without import Pyspark session, app builder, go create, it will not work. Okay, so I'll also, what I will do is, so let us, means what we will be learning here is how to create a broadcast variable. There is something called broadcast variable. So let me give you that explanation. So broadcast variable, what is broadcast variable? See, there are a lot of performance techniques here. So use case and all. So let me explain you first about broadcast variable rather than jumping there, because they will ask in interview, tell me about broadcast variable and all. So I also want to show you practically with explanation. See, what happens is broadcast variables, when we use, so we have also used like whenever you have a very small data, okay, one table has a huge data, one data is very small, because every time what will happen is in Spark, the data moves to the driver. Okay, every time data moves to the driver, and it is a costly operation whenever you have a huge data. But whenever you have a small data table, like only the country, you have a table with country and code, like USA, US, yeah, same year only, New Jersey, somewhere it would have written New Jersey. Okay, let me show you. So one table is bigger table, like you will have the same data, like you will have lakhs of data like this, name, all those things. One more table might be a smaller table, like same thing, US, for example, yeah, states, or yeah, country, states, short form, whatever it is. So country USA only we saw now, right now, USA. So here you saw state name was, complete state name was New Jersey, California, CALIFORNIA, Florida, FLORIDA. So here it's a small table. Okay, forget about that short form also. It's a small table. Maybe like this, how much you might get. Right now, some business is running in US and another 3-4 countries. Maybe you will have like this 400 or 500 columns. That is very less data. Only they will tell country and the states. This is a very small table in a big data. In a big data means petabyte of data, 100 crore, 500 crores of data. But here you might not even get 1 lakh data, not even 50,000. Hardly will get 1,000 or 2,000 records. Even if you take all country and all states in the globe, you might not reach more than 2 or 5 or 6 lakhs of data. That is a very small data. So what happens is, in the Pyspark architecture, every time the data moves to the driver. I have not showed the PPTs and all I will show next week. The data moves to the driver. There will be a master node. It assigns the task to the different distribution, and it is a very complex process, going to and fro, going different places. So what happens here, the broadcast variable, as soon as you write in the code and define this country table as a broadcast table, the Spark internal architecture will understand this is a broadcast table. I should not send this table data to the driver and do all the partition drama. what I'll do, every worker task, there is something called worker task, I will keep that in a memory. So as soon as I keep that in memory, I'll distribute all the worker tasks so that it will not go to and fro from the driver, get the information where this table is there, split. Because I know it's a very small table. I will not break this table at all, even if it has 50-60,000. Every worker node, if I show here, know all these concepts are very important as soon as we come to Spark and AWS. I don't know, like other places they might teach some practical and leave you, but I know exactly what happens in the interview. Like, see, this is a driver. I have also the PPT. Okay, I'll show you through that. This is a driver, and driver is like a master. I told, right, company. I start a company. I know coding very well. One project I am able to do, two project I am able to do. After fourth or fifth project, I'll come to know I should not code. I should not work on a particular project. I have 4 or 5 projects. I have to manage this project. I should be like a master. So driver is like a master node. Okay, where he knows which project is given to which person. Okay, and every time this can be told as a slave node or a worker task, where each and every task is assigned to single person, and he knows if something breaks here, this would again one more partition gets created and it gives so many drama. This person will be knowing all those things because he is a master. He should know all the information, which partition has which project. This can be told as partition 1, partition 2, partition 3, partition 4, like that. Internally, technically, we call this as worker node. Okay, worker node. That I have PPT. Maybe next week I'll explain. Okay, but I am ending up explaining more of concepts only. But yeah, without that I can't tell you about broadcast variable. Simply if I show you technically, there is no point. Worker node, inside worker node there is a task, job tracker and all, which I'll explain later. But on a high level, like this is doing one project, one project, one project. If you have a bigger table, one bigger table would be splitted. Already I showed you just now how the partitions happen. Okay, one bigger table would be splitted here. Here it would be given 25%. Here it would be given 25%. Same one table data would be splitted here. Okay, so even splitting should happen. And how much data is gone, this master should know, right? This data has got 1 to 25,000, or it can be in the random way. Yeah, and second 25,000, 1 to 50,000 is gone to this. This information has to kept. That means this info, the heartbeat signal has to be sent here. This driver node or master should know this much data is in the second worker node. In the third worker node, this data is there. This data is there. So it has to happen to and fro of going this. This will take good amount of time internally. But when you have a very small table, you don't need to do so much drama. Small tables, what happens internally is you create a broadcast. As soon as you create a broadcast, I will have a replica of country table in each and every partition. That means they keep in a cache and it is given to all the driver node. So you have a 100% table. I mean to say 100% in all the table. 100% here also. Okay. So 100%. Here also 100%. So that means the entire table is there. So there is no drama of going to and fro, knowing master, this much is here, this much is here. When I already know this part of thing is there, everyone, so he can take from his worker node, the life is very simple. So to do this activity, when I will do this activity, that is a thing. When you have a huge volume of data, you will not do because it will break. The worker node have some GB of RAM, memory. It's like your CPU, one CPU. One CPU will have hard disk, processor, RAM and all. So you cannot keep a huge volume of data table here. I know it is only 50,000, 1 lakh data. It's a very small data table. Sometimes we have a table of 500 records, 1000 records. Those are the bridge table. So for those tables, I will make that as a broadcast table. As soon as I make as a broadcast table, the data will be kept, that table will be kept in each and every of the worker node, so that everyone can immediately join it without any delay. So, and output would be faster. So for this we do a broadcast variable. Okay. So you got it, I believe, right? Now I'll give you a notes. Understanding this is, that's all. Some notes on this. So this is an explanation for broadcast variable concept. Okay. So now let me give, without explaining this I can't give you, it's just a keyword I have to use in my program, broadcast. So but without explaining, but in interview they will ask, you have a big table, you have a small table, how will you do? Or they will only ask you like, oh, this scenario is there, how will you do? So you have to come up with broadcast variable. Why broadcast variable? What happens broadcast variable? These information they expect in the interview. Getting right? Doing is only writing broadcast, that's all. That doesn't make any sense in the interview. And I am telling, logic and all goes with Python only. So in Python SQL they start asking logic. In Spark they will ask you 1 or 2 questions and more of these kind of questions like performance tuning, architecture, how the data goes, how the partition happens, broadcast variable, what is RDD, what is narrow transformation, wide transformation, what is the, when you will go for partition, collage. See how the things happen. You have to start thinking like this, when to use what. I think you are getting that dose, how the Spark interview questions will be there. So broadcast variable are read only shared variables. Yeah, it is read only shared variables. Okay, I had like couple of questions to do that for loop and all using Pythonic way, but I wanted to import the data file because creating a big data file is difficult. So let me figure out, maybe not tomorrow, by next week. Okay, it is a read only shared variables that are cached and available, see here, and available on all nodes. On nodes means CPU, however you understand, that's left to you. On all nodes in the cluster. Okay. Instead of sending this data along with every task, see, that is what, instead of sending the data along every task, Pyspark distributes broadcast variable. Pyspark keeps broadcast variables in all nodes. For efficient, to reduce communication cost. I hope like you are able to make the meaning out of this by my explanation diagram. Okay, so use case also I'll tell. This is a common use case. What use case I told you, right? Country and all. There are very small tables that is common, like those are bridging table, like country name, some product is there, for that code is there. How many products a company will have? 100, 200, 500, 1000, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, that's all the products. For that product code, I can't send it to the every time driver and node and make it very costly. So for communication cost, I'll keep it as a broadcast variable. So same use case. This is a company use case. Okay. You are getting 2-letter country state code. You are getting 2-letter country. This is also valid example. Country state code in a file. And you wanted to transform it to full state name. Same thing. For example, CA to California, 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 New York to New York, etc. Whatever it is, by doing lookup to reference mapping, whatever, by doing lookup to reference mapping. Okay. So we can use broadcast, okay, variable to cache this lookup into each machine. Same thing what I explained. Okay. So now I can Spark first. Okay, I think, yeah, I can show you this example for the day. So let me show you this quickly. I think 1 minute, where is that? Okay, so I came here. So before this, let me have the states also. Two tables, right? One is data table, one more is state table. State table I want to broadcast because it has very small data. It is telling New York, NY to New York, NEW New York, and next is CA to California, CALIFORNIA, California. Next one FL to Florida, FL to FLO or IDA, Florida. Okay. So this is states is one table, data is one table. Now I want to broadcast the state table because I know this is a very small data. I have given only 3. There might be 300 crore. Maybe this can be another 100 or 200 states. That's all. But it's a very small table. Okay. So what I'll do here is in the intermediate, I'll do broadcast states. This is just a variable name. It can be any name. Okay. Spark context context dot broadcast. That's all. I have to use broadcast. That's all in my code. And which table you have to broadcast? States. Okay. Now this will internally go to the cache and every worker task in the distributed manner. As soon as it breaks 5 or 10 or 100 partition, every partition will have this states table. Like a replica it will have. Okay. So now let me execute this to show you. RDD equal to spark contest. This is what indentation, syntax issue, it doesn't tell. That's the headache for me. PARALLELIZD. Parallelize data. Now I can also use the function state convert code. Okay, state convert code. Okay, state convert code, return broadcast state dot value, return broadcast states. See, now you are able to get the importance of Python. Okay, dot value code. Now result equal to RDD map. I am using map because for every input I need a single output. I'll use lambda now. Okay. So let me see whether it works. X of 0 for the, how many data is there? Okay, X of 0, X of 1, X of 2, comma, state convert function. Let me use state convert function. State convert function. Here last is the state convert function. I have to use state convert function for this value. That means wherever this is there, it has to go as NY to New York, CA to California, FL to Florida. I have created one function. Okay, and return the broadcast states. States will have this already. Now I am taking that function And for the third column is x of 3. See, now directly if I teach you Spark, it's very difficult and I can't explain you everything again and again. So you should be, collect is again an action. Okay, one of the action. Okay, and print result, result. Let me first see whether I am able to get the output or there is some error. Okay, unmatched. What is the error? RDD map. Okay, are there brackets or more? One bracket. Okay, yeah, I think for this we have one bracket only, right? Okay, convert, this is one bracket and one more bracket is required. Now is it fine? Now what is a new error? Spark context. Yeah, that is a problem. Okay, next what is error? Tuple object is perhaps you missed a comma. Okay, where in this slide? California. Okay. Okay, in data CA, comma is there, right? Okay. Oh yeah, correct. Next is what? Object has no attribute, Spark context has no attribute, broadcast. Spark context has no attribute, broadcast it is telling. Actually has no attribute, broadcast. Should I again use here Spark session? Or should I? No attribute, BRO. Okay, this is just a name. Spark contest object has no attribute, broadcast. I think it has to be BROAD, broad. Spelling mistake. Now what is the thing? Session object has no attribute, broadcast, no attribute, Spark session object has no attribute. Okay, should I also see, got it. This is slightly becoming harder for me. Next is x of y, x of 0. What is the next error? X is not defined. Okay, it is defined, right? Lambda x colon x of 1, x of 2. Name x is not defined. Is it capital? Name error. X is defined here. Lambda x of 3. Name x is not defined. This is defined only, so what is the issue it's saying? rdd.map. Okay, x of 0. Okay, if I directly do this and if I do Okay, it's working here. Dot collect. Okay, after that x of 1, I think x of 0 comma x of 1. Okay, the second objects are not taking, only till x of 0 is taking. So I can declare this. X is not defined in. What is the error? So what is really equivalent to private? Okay. The definition of function ends when there's a comma. So okay. Lambda name error. Okay, I should also check this. What is the name error? Okay, let me check it and tell you tomorrow. There is something where I have to define x and just check it, a small thing. So please install in PyCharm only. This is little bit problem because you don't get indentation error and all we saw. So the way they have given is through PyCharm, the installation. Just check with the admin and try to install it. Okay. Tomorrow we'll have the session at the same time. Any doubt in today's class? Anyone? Just email me if you have a doubt so we can discuss. Okay. And also complete your assignments. If Vaibhav or someone comes, he will ask me to remove you guys. So you know that last time also it happened. Okay, tomorrow we'll meet at the same time. What is the thing? Okay, I will give you the notes. How to install PyCharm is PyCharm. How to install in PyCharm? Last week I had given you this, right? The links and all. So please follow the links. If you ask me, last week, 1 second, because I have also not installed in PyCharm. That was given by Intelli guy. Link I have no access. Okay, you don't have access. 1 minute. Because please do install. You know that lot of practical thing you guys have to do now. 1 minute, let me check in one more laptop. I have that software installation. I think where I had kept. 1 second, I am just looking for that. I can see access. You have to ask the even I don't have an access to give you access. It was given by IntelliB people only, so you have to check with them. That's what I am telling again and again. The Pyspark installation, completely check with them. Okay, That is what last time also I told you. Pyspark installation. I had given you this link. If you don't have access, I had not kept here. IntelliB guys have kept. Software installation. Pyspark installation. Okay, not this. 1 second. Pyspark installation. Pyspark installation. I can share you the link. Okay, but this access and how to install, check with them. That's what I am telling you. Got it right? You can follow this YouTube video. Okay, there is a drive, there is a document, how to install and all. You check with this, read it. You are not getting, check with the admin of the IntelliB. Okay, he will help you to install. So these are the queries, installation, where the software is kept in the drive. Okay, all these things you check with them. Okay, check with them today or tomorrow or Monday, whatever it is. Check with them and please install. Yeah, notes I am giving you, because I can show you this way through Docker installation and all. That can be the last option, but with that you got this issue right. The indentation and all is slightly difficult, struggling thing. But if he is already installed, just check with him and let me also know how to install it. Okay, you guys teach me how to install in PyCharm. Okay, so now today's notes, IntelliB. So I have all these things I am sending you guys. Currently in use. Let me close it first, whatever is getting used. Okay, Excel is also getting used. I'll close this, I'll also close this. Okay, now send it. Yeah, I've sent it. You can download. Okay, if you have downloaded, you can leave for the day. Tomorrow same time we will meet and continue the session. Any other doubt you have? Please understand the theory concepts, whatever we are speaking. Read more, understand more. Pyspark is not about doing and getting an output. On Python I never told you theory, only practical, but in Spark I am telling, I am not even planned today, I never planned to speak about theory. But as soon as I spoke about that, I came to know this is an interview question, they ask an interview. It came from my mouth. It is like directly an interview thing. I know what exactly they ask in an interview. That's why I repeat. Okay, I am not doing anything junk. I am exactly hitting on a bullseye. What is required for working in a company, what is asked in interview. So please follow whatever I am doing. That's it. Okay, we will meet tomorrow the same time. Thank you. Okay, enjoy the day. Bye.